All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Time to have another conversation. No intro today. Why? I just don't feel like reaching over this boom stand right now, okay? I did chest and shoulders this morning. I'm a little sore, all right? Please forgive me. Anyway, guys, I think the majority of you know on this channel that I have a Discord server that is linked up through my Patreon, okay? Link down in the description box down below. Now, the benefits of the Discord server is that you have 24/7 access to the inner circle, the community. And of course, I am a part of that inner circle in that community. So I'm down in there all the time having these conversations, both from a typing perspective as well as a voice conversation. We also do things such as the after parties to Red Cup Talk, and we have weekly workshops on Sundays. So we do all of these different things that, you know, you don't really see from an outside looking in perspective unless you join the Patreon. I stand by it. I think it's one of the best deals on this side of YouTube to get into a space of like-minded people that are trying to improve on themselves, increase their value into the future. It's for men and women as well. As directed towards men, but there's a combinations made for women, and I'll go through that here in a second. But anyway, I just had a brother on the men's channel on my Discord server bring up a question, ask for my thoughts on it. And I thought instead of answering it directly there, how about I just do a video on it? Because I think the question is fantastic and it needs to be addressed. With that being said, let me bring up my Discord server real here. So what you guys are looking at right now, this is the message board. You can think of this, if you're not familiar with Discord, you can think of it like a giant message board with a whole bunch of different topics. So you'll see here, we'll go over everything from, you know, you get content notifications, event announcements, you get the post recommendations from me, the terrible, amazing comments Hall of Fame, and as well as the terrible comments Hall of Fame. It's hilarious stuff in there. Then we have a co-ed chat, men's chat, women's chat, hot topics, solutions chat. That's where we just talk solutions, okay? Some other thing, men building chat. You'll see from a business perspective, all of these different chats. We have content chats. Different streams of information from bots that are being put down into these chats, lifestyle goals, music, anime. I mean, anything and everything you can see down in here. We also have voice chats as well. You could see them right down here. We got everything from general chats all the way down to like gaming live streams if you guys want to come up and live stream. Anyway, that is your basic tour of the Discord server, but let's get into the brother's question. All right. MTR. I was watching one of the Mediocre tutorial and reviews videos, and my fiance wanted to listen in on what I was watching. Yes, we got married men, we got soon to be married men, we got single men up there, we got red pill rage men up there as well. But we're all coming together to form solutions, okay? It had to do with the cheating video that he responded to and was responded back to in an Instagram post. Oh, that's hilarious. I actually didn't upload that video yet as per me recording that video, but that's another benefit being a part of the Patreon is that you get access to videos that I haven't put on the YouTube channel yet or have delisted from the YouTube channel. One of our arguments is women are oppressed more than men. And to some degree, I agree with that, okay? Also, a point came up where she was arguing how women deal with shaming of them being promiscuous and the double standard that they face sexually. I began to say men have to deal with double standards and what is expected of them in different ways and gave examples. Let me pause it right there, okay? Because oftentimes you hear this oppression argument, and shout out to Jody that's been on the channel before. What she said was, this is not the oppression Olympics. I remember that vividly in my mind that when she was saying that, okay? And the thing is here's the facts. We are both oppressed and privileged in various different things on both sides of the gender, okay? But we have our own biases when we come into these conversations. When I come into these conversations, I try to come as balanced as what I possibly can. But I say all the time, guys, I'm biased because I am a man and I'm going to put my issues at the forefront or prioritize what's going on in my life at the forefront because it's things that I am currently and readily going through. But women will say things based off of their own biases because that's what they see. That is their perspective. And listen, at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that we should both be coming in to the table and talking about our issues together in unity, simultaneously, because that's when we can get real formidable solutions if the communication is done appropriately. But this idea that women are more oppressed than men in 2021, that is not true. It is just simply just not true. That women are the most free that they've ever been in the history of ever. They're more liberated than what they ever been. And, you know, you have a lot of organizations that have pushed the liberation, and to a degree, I think it's a little bit too far. That's how you get no one blinks or bats an eye at a Cardi B touching her viscous fluids in a WAP form on the ground and talking about it in a song and licking, sticking, flicking and doing all of that stuff. And they're playing it at kids' birthday parties and no one sheds an eye. Man, mind you, you play that song in front of her own daughter and she's going to cut it off real quickly. But that's another conversation. The most liberated that they've ever been, ever. But are there things that can still be worked on? Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And I'm not discrediting or saying that there's not things to improve on. But men have things we are oppressed in as well. We are treated unfairly in as well. I have a multitude of videos that go into exactly what I'm saying, but I don't want to belabor the point outside of this sentence right here. So let's continue on. Okay. She responds when she highlights something. I try and come explain the man's plight is like when black people air out their struggle and white people say, oh, we have struggles too. Let me briefly comment on that. Fact of the matter is I don't know if that's true or not, right? Like, you could be entering in these conversations, and every time that she brings up a point about what women go through, you could always interject what a man goes through, and maybe that's what she's bringing up. Okay, I wouldn't say that this is a misdirection or a misguidance. Perhaps this is feedback on your communication style, my G. Perhaps it is. I would say take an honest note, because it's not fair if in a conversation you misdirect the conversation, or someone else is misdirecting your conversation in a way to always bring up how it relates to you. Okay, sometimes, and this is your fiance, so you guys are know each other extremely well and are still trying to figure out before you get married the little things about each other that make yourselves twix, or the little quirks and weird things from a communication perspective of how to make sure that you are relating to each other in a manner that makes sure that each of what you're going through is absolutely heard. And maybe she's just saying to you, I just want you to just dwell in what plagues us. Right. And here's the thing that I try to do on occasion when I have these discussions with women that are in my life is that I put a timer down. Right. So we'll have a discussion. Literally, I will put a timer on the table and I say, all right, 1 minute, go. Right. And you have them talk, because here's what can happen. And this is often with women that I have conversations with. And this is what makes the communication key. Ladies, pay attention. All 10 ladies that watch this channel, pay attention. You guys talk from stream of consciousness, and you go on and on and on, and you go to point after point. And this is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I have to stop you as you speak, because you just hit on 3 different things, and I need to give individual responses to those 3 things, because the more that you go on, the more that your point becomes less clear to me. It becomes less clear to me. So I have to pause you at different portions. And I think having a timer to do that, to pause and address these components of the conversation, I think is key, because it allows a stopping time, right? It allows a stopping time, and you get a minute on yourself to talk about your positions. Within that, if you're having a conversations, but you're misdirecting it based off of the issues that plague you, I would say that, yes, that is a particular problem. You have to have empathy enough in a conversation to listen to their perspectives as well, so you can appropriately address each one. But I would suggest putting a timer up if it gets to these stream of consciousness type conversations, in order to limit the response time and have them focus on one point. Because I say it all the time, you can't really formulate solutions to unclear problems. Okay. Stream of consciousness is not a clear communication style. All right. Stop at a point, answer. Stop at a point, answer. Anyway, let me go back into the response. Okay. Okay. Again, she highlights something and I try to explain the man's plight. Yada, yada. Do fellas think that she has a point here? I think I just answered that. Can I not bring up the double standards we face as well when we are talking about their struggles? I think yes, but you have to be cognizant of how much time is being dedicated that you're participating to your struggles as a man, and then also how much time that is being dedicated to her struggles as a woman. Because I think both sides of the coin deserves a seat at the table to be heard. Okay. I asked, when can we talk about it then? And as a man, the optics of how that would look, because of how men should always be less emotional. Okay. I don't think that you should worry about that. This is your fiance. I think you guys should make communication time. Don't worry about being less emotional in these conversations. And let me also be clear. Bringing up a conversation doesn't make you emotional. Not saying that, listen, we need to have a conversation, but that doesn't make you emotional. It's how you conduct yourself in these communications. That will make you emotional. Okay. That will make you emotional. All right. It was a long convo with her gaslighting with the typical, oh, you mad? Why are you so bothered? Okay. This is a whole other. Okay. So now what you're bringing up is that there's gaslighting within the situation, that there's red herrings, there's smoke screens, there's insults, there's shaming language. She has an infinite need to be right. That's completely different. Okay. So here's the thing. When it happens to me in conversations, when I see it happening, I call it out. I pause and I say, I call it out. Now I don't say, you're gaslighting or be accountable. I'm not gonna lie. I have said that in the past. I have said that in the past. I'm not gonna lie. So, but for better communication in the future, it's not saying those can be weaponized words, can be trigger words. It's, hey, I think the point that you just brought up is really not aligned to what I was saying. Let me restate my point, right? Let me restate my point. And here's the thing. You got certain people on the internet that have very direct conversation in a way to have it for an entertainment purpose, right? It's very direct. It's very to the point, causes controversy. And then you have the communication that you should have with your fiance. It's I think that it's very uniquely different things. All right. So don't get the two confused, but I think you should remain direct to the point, stoic, never get emotional off of any of these things, because if she's interjecting the shit test, it could be consciously that she's doing it or unconsciously that she's doing it. But, and especially if it's unconsciously, they have to be made aware that that is not the correct way that you should be talking to you. Okay. They have to be made aware, because a lot of times, I'll be honest, they don't even realize that they're doing it. They don't even realize it's a default system mechanism, defense mechanism that has worked through them through a large period portion of life. Because even on YouTube and shit like that, how many people respond off of shaming and insults in order to muddy the water? Even the audience, whether or not the person who started the conversation is 100% right, 100% logical, they got the facts, the data. Even from an audience perspective, because it emotionally triggers you to react in a certain way. And oftentimes you see that the logical person will lose the argument to the emotional person. You often will see this happening. Okay. You can't expect the audience to be as cognizant of shaming language or shit test as you, right? But make them aware. He says, but then I held my masculine frame, and in the face of the shaming, She wasn't really trying to be open to a man's perspective. I'm really resonating with a lot of the red pill, ideology. But I also like to understand a woman and how to deal with them while deciphering what they are really saying between all the emotion and the facts that they spew. Okay. And here's the thing. And this is a specific conversation that I always like to have on the channel is, you know, how do you put yourself and the opposition in a place where you can have these conversations to understand? Because I'm a firm believer that the more that you understand their positions, the more that you can counteract it with your own positions. You got to understand the things that they're saying in order to form the best strategy and plot within these conversations to form a solution. Okay. But here's the thing. She might have also been at the point where it's emotional overload and they turn off. Okay. And they just turn off. Okay. So I actually had some very good feedback at work. I used to manage a person and we had some things that were happening behind the scenes between me and this person, which caused them to have a blow up at me. Caused them to have a blow up at me. All right. We were in a room together and they blew up at me. Okay. And I handled the conversation at a very stoic level, but I went back and I had a conversation with my mentor and I was like, man, listen, I just want to go back in there. I want to finish. I want to go and have this conversation, right? Like, because they blew up at me and I just kind of kept quiet because I remained stoic within that. Okay. But then I went back and I was talking to my mentor. I was like, yo, I gotta go, and speak my piece, and speak my mind. And he said, give them time. Give them time. Because no matter what you say right now, you will be in the wrong, even if it is correct. So give them some time. Give them tonight. Go back home, go to sleep, okay? Rest, wake up in the morning, address it tomorrow, okay? Because sometimes you can't meet people exactly where they are based off of their current emotional disposition. Sometimes you cannot do that, okay? Because they just will shut off. They just will not hear you. In order to increase the likelihood or the chance of success in that dialogue, one of the things that you can do is give them space, give them time. Let them know that you can address it at another time if they reach that point of emotional overload. Okay. Last thing, how do I handle my red pill journey with someone with feminist views? I think I've gone over this particular portion of the question a lot during this entire conversation. I think that it's key that, guys, listen, at the end of the day, I bring people here on purpose with different perspectives and ideologies than myself. And I do that for a clear purpose. Putting these conversations on the forefront with different people with different associations to their truth than me, and seeing how these conversations are conducted are key towards the healing of our community. So I thought that this was a fantastic question. I think when they interject turmoil into the conversation and they may be unconscious about it, you have to know how to identify it and overstep it. Either call it out right there, right? Not a passively aggressively call out. I'm talking you point a finger at it, right? Address it like I gave you an example about earlier. Address it right there. I think that you have to remain masculine and stoic within the way that you address, because two emotional people coming at each other is a recipe for complete and utter disaster. I think that you have to be accepting of feedback regarding how it is that you communicate with them. It seemed like she gave you some feedback of how you always switch it. I mean, and it could be true. Okay. But I think that it's key that the old language that is used to bully people into conforming can no longer be used anymore. Okay. Here's what I'll also say as well. Do your best to leverage data, sources, statistics. Do your best, because everybody has their anecdotal truths. Everybody knows somebody that it worked for. Everybody knows somebody, right? But if you based reality off of anecdotal experiences, you will never get close to the truth, ever. That's why I go over data so much on this channel. right? As to say, this is what's happening in reality. This is what the numbers say. Does what's happening in reality and what they're telling you is what should happen or what needs to happen? Is that what actually should, is that what the data says, right? Is that what the studies say? Now, the studies can have some issues as well, but at least it gives you a baseline. At least it gives you a baseline, okay? And not only that, but it also makes it more difficult to have people lead arguments with outliers, right? As opposed to generally what will happen, all right? And I see this happening all day. I call it the Russell Wilson syndrome, okay? Being as though you have a society of women that look at Sierra and Russell Wilson and say, I can do the same thing. That is a far minority, okay? It's a far minority. It's a smidgen of a minority, okay? And so many other factors in there, that really never get considered. But taking a outlier as truth to prove what it is that you're saying, that's another debate tactic that has to be recognized as it's happening. Okay, we talk in the land of standard deviations on a bell curve. What would happen the majority of the time if you have this certain trait or this characteristic and you carry that behavior forward? Okay, so I think those things are key. All right. Shout out to my Discord. I didn't think that this video was going to be that long, but shout out to my Discord. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. I'm so proud of the questions. I'm so proud of the growth. I'm so proud of the knowledge and the understanding. I'm so proud of the solutions that we try to come up with. Shout out to all the ladies that joined the Patreon. You know what I'm saying? All the ladies got down into the Patreon and Discord, and I was just asking them, because this was supposed to be a men's Discord. I was asking them, why did y'all join? Like, because I don't get it. And they were all like, you know, we appreciate, first of all, we're trying to learn more about men, which I think is super key. I think it's super key. We're trying to learn more about how men think, right? So it's a dope community to do that. And we wanted to challenge our way of thinking, okay? And we want to challenge our way of thinking. And I think that this is what this is all about. Challenge how you think. Okay, if you get into these echo chambers, the echo chambers happen on both male side and on female side. Happens on both sides. Okay, what are you doing to get out of your echo chamber, to consider someone else's reality? That's when you get true empathy. All right, that's when you get true empathy. Anyway, shout out to everybody. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. Shout out to you. Hopefully you learned something in this conversation here today. Shout out to the original poster. He doesn't know I'm doing a video about this, but you know, man, we'll see what he says. So, questions, comments, concerns, y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Guys, link down to the Patreon in which you can access the Discord down in the description box down below. There's so many benefits that I have in store, being able to be a part of the inner circle. Come up here and politic with us. Shit, we're off talking on voice chat all the time. It's actually a really beautiful thing to see, especially in this COVID environment. Okay, we're more alone than ever. All right, come up here and meet some family members. Okay, that's why I leave this one today. Until next time, you two. Sore. Peace.